Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us for the Arizona Trail Showdown Day 12 recap. Today, we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to jump right in and check in with Ben and Mike. Here we go. Can you hear me there?
Yeah, I don't know if you have the screen showing like the logo, the ninja logo, the voodoo logo.
Wait, what's that?
Your screen shows the ninja.
Oh, does it?
VEO.
Let me see here real quick. Any different?
No. I don't think the audience has gotten the was having the showdown poster. If this is usually what's on air is the big screen, and it looks like the little like shiny star. Well, we're looking at the live from YouTube, and it's showing us. We just don't have a back camera feed of us ourselves over here.
Gotcha.
Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. How are things going for you two?
We're good. I don't know if you just want us to jump right into things or not.
Yeah, Mike, if you can give us just kind of like a brief recap of your last 24 hours.
Yeah, so yesterday was a slow start because I was very fatigued and kind of unmotivated. But approximately around noon or so, I finally got dressed and got out and got ready to go. Where we were, what was that?
Summer Haven.
We're in Summer Haven, and so there was a 2-mile descent on the road, like a paved road to the trailhead to head over to where was that?
We're at Mount Lemmon.
Marshall Gulch.
Yeah,
Marshall Gulch. And just on that 2-mile road section, I felt like I was gonna collapse. I felt like I had nothing in the tank, and it took everything in me to maintain. It was like an 18 to 19 minute pace going downhill on a paved road, so I had no technicality, and so
No, I think it's coming from your side.
No, it's okay. So basically I was doing like an 18 to 19 minute pace on a downhill road, and so it kind of worried me with what I had ahead based off of what I heard Ben had to go through in the Marshall Gulch area. And so I called my crew and told them to come get me. And we basically drove to the end of Marshall Gulch and decided to take like a 24-hour break just to see how I feel and see if I think I could push through to finish. But yeah, basically I made a post on Instagram and Facebook about what's going on, but I am pulling the plug now. And yeah, this is where it's going to stop, at least for now, but I won't be continuing. Yeah, I mean, my personality, and I know this is something I should probably maybe see a therapist for, but I'm very hard on myself, and I just know that if I just finish this just to finish it, that there's going to be a part of me that's not fully satisfied, and I know that that's probably something that that's something I do need to work on. But that's just how I am right now. And so I am planning on coming back next year kind of my own timeline. I'm not going to like make a big deal out of it. I'm just going to kind of show up and go for it again, because I do believe that I can do this, especially, you know, I know some of the mistakes that I've made, and I know what I can do to not dig myself into the hole that I dug myself into a few nights ago. But yeah, I would rather just stop now. I'd rather stop now, because I know that if I don't finish this thing, that I am going to want to come back to finish it. And that will give me the opportunity to study it more and to take the lessons I learned and to push harder and still go for that record.
That makes sense to me. Ben, do you feel a similar way about the effort? Is this something that you think you might want to return and attempt again?
There's definitely a piece of me that wants to, you know, that knows, I mean, anytime you've experienced something, I mean, we went into it 100%, almost blind, never experienced the trail. And the experience that I've had out here, running the southern section, and then also crewing, and speaking with Mike about the other sections and seeing the terrain, there's a lot of approaches or a lot of different strategies that I would adjust from our initial strategy. It's like lessons learned, not necessarily mistakes. You can look at them as mistakes, but you also look at them as lessons learned, and applying what we learned and making a better overall attempt. We're thinking about coming back in spring, so obviously spring adds a different element, and I'm sure it comes with its own difficulties that we didn't experience here in the fall, whether it's snowpack, whether it's weather. We actually had really good weather, even though there was a couple of rain here and there, but nothing bad. The temperatures were good, but obviously the overgrowth of the grasses from the summer monsoon season and the lack of traffic through those areas because of the heat adds a different element to the trail. And right now, you know, we'd actually like to see the difference coming into the spring, and with the grasses a little bit less overgrown, and the cat claw and all the different you know, obstacles in a way. So just a different approach. So yeah, I guess in a long answer short is I am actually interested in coming back and doing another effort. Now, I don't know if we'll do like a showdown effort again. I think it was a fantastic idea. I really hope everybody enjoyed the concept, and it's something that we could look at maybe even expanding in the future with other trails, other athletes, and something I kind of want to run through Jamil's mind with and see if that's a good idea. But for now, I think we need to, you know, recover, analyze what we went through, analyze what we learned, and then strategize for the comeback.
Well said. And I know I said this yesterday, just wanted to reiterate, like, I don't know that there's anything in this space that's been done like this before. And so props to both of you for putting yourselves out there. Like, I think you guys are moving the sport forward doing this, and it's really cool to see and be a part of. One question before I start jumping into some of the questions that the chat's asking: did either of you get to use the soccer shin guards at all for the overgrowth?
Not yet.
Yeah. I used half of them, if that counts. The shin guards that Ben bought me have this sleeve that you put on, and then the shin guards just Velcro to it. And so I put the sleeves on, but I only made it 2 miles on road. So
gotcha.
No one really used them.
Save them for next time.
Yeah, we'll save them.
Definitely showing up with them.
Excellent. Will either of you and your families be dressing up for Halloween? What will you be going as?
I mean, so that was, I don't know if you saw my most recent post about an hour ago, but like a big part of my decision to pull the plug is I want to be home for Halloween with my children. My son Killian, he has been talking about Halloween for like the past 2 months, and it's just been really fun to, he's at that really fun age, so I don't want to miss that, and I just don't see me being able to finish this in the time I need to be able to be back and pick him up from the in-law and get home and everything. But anyway, so yeah, that was a big reason that helped me decide to not continue. But anyway, so to answer your question, my children, Oakley and Killian, they're police officers. That's what they want to be. And then me and my wife, Sarah, are their inmates. I feel like that really depicts the parent-child relationship quite well.
Yep. Ben,
well, since I already have half the costume on my face, I just go as Forrest Gump, I guess.
Just need the Bubba Gump hat.
Yep. I actually have that. 1 year at Javelina, I was that. So.
Oh, perfect.
I love watching other people get all dressed up and get festive for Halloween, and then there's me that just kind of like, what do I have in the closet that doesn't match and can be loud and obnoxious and just throw it together? That's kind of my MO.
I like it. I've been the Big Lebowski, I think, the last 6 or 7 years. I just had the same bowling jersey. So how long, from Brian, how long does it take to recover from an effort like this?
I mean, the only thing I have to compare is the Colorado Trail, which took me just over 7 days. And to be honest, physically, I feel like I recovered pretty fast. Just because you're going at such a lower effort. But the thing that took me probably 3 to 4 weeks to recover from was the sleep deprivation. I would just, kind of the feeling I have right now, I went to bed last night at like 9 and I woke up at 7:30. So I got over 10 hours of sleep and I still feel like I'm like not rested like at all. And I had that feeling for about 3 or 4 weeks after the Colorado Trail. So yeah, physically I feel like I can recover pretty quick, but like just the sleep deprivation, I'm guessing it's going to take about a month or so, like it did after Colorado.
Sure. How are you doing, Ben?
Good. I'm excited to get back home and actually see my chiropractor, get my hips checked, and then some Ozo injections into the hip to release some of the whatever's going on up in there. There's something going on up there. I feel it every time I start doing something. But just standing around, it's not too bad. It's just a little ache. So I don't know if I need to throw on an SI belt for a little while or what, or I just need an adjustment. Sometimes it's just an adjustment, but there's something going on up in there that I just get that. Then I think so. I started getting into a little bit of mountain biking with my son. Right as I was leading into my high volume training for the AZT, and I really want to get out there before the trails get too bad. So I think I'm going to spend a lot of time on mountain bike in my area until the snow really sets in, and then I love the gym. I love lifting, so I'll probably focus on 3 days a week lifting and mountain biking and just go out for some shorter runs. And if my body says, "Hey, I like this," great. If it says, "Yeah, a little too soon," you just pull back and go. You kind of go by feel. You don't force the issue, but I'm excited to get back into the groove, I guess you can say, of training, sleeping, eating properly, going from a 200 effort straight into a crewing support intermittent sleeping effort was pretty intense experience in itself. And so I mean, even though it's been a week, I don't even feel that much recovered. Usually half through the day, my brain starts to go foggy and I get tired and everything.
I think that's smart, Ben. I think a lot of people jump right back into it too soon, and that's when you end up getting yourself in trouble. Mike, will you change your low-carb nutrition plan after this effort?
Is that a serious question?
Are you going vegan? Are you going vegan?
I mean, so I don't know if this question was like a serious question or not, but like, you know, for those who know how I do my nutrition, like I'm definitely not low carb during the event. You know, I think I heard you guys talking about the Slurpees and the, those were my Slurpees. So like, you know, I hit a hot section yesterday and like the only thing on my mind was a Slurpee. So I had a Slurpee. So I do have carbs during my efforts. And I guess maybe that question was like, will I go lower carb since it didn't end up so well? I don't know. But anyway, so I'm not going to change anything nutritionally. Like, honestly, this is the first thing I've ever done where I didn't have some kind of digestive issue. Like the big digestive issues, which is true. I've always still had some kind of issue, usually like electrolyte imbalance. But like this is the first time like I had no stomach issues, so I feel pretty good with how the nutrition went.
What are both of your first meals back home going to be? Have you thought about that at all?
I mean no. But I mean, I'm just looking forward to going back to the routine. Like I've been doing a lot of like restaurant type foods, like having my crew go pick me up some chicken wings. They picked me up a couple steaks. So I did have a lot of the same foods I have back home, but I'm just looking forward to it being like me cooking it. So I'm just gonna go back into my normal meat, fruit, and raw milk routine.
Same here. I can't wait to get back to more of a regimen and routine. Steak salads are my go-to for dinner, and my go-to is like eggs, bacon, sausage, and cheeses for like lunch. My body's just screaming to get back into that. Like I feel the difference of there's some, you know, it's hard to explain. I don't think anybody quite understands it. I know before I went to this OFM type eating, Mike and Jeff and Zach really talked to me about like how awesome it was, and it didn't make any sense to me at that point. But after going to it and feeling how my body feels and how it operates and how it functions when I'm, you know, in the regimen, it's night and day difference. And so these past 2 weeks of throwing in some unnecessary carbs after the effort has definitely taken a toll on my digestive system. So I'm looking forward to getting back to strict OFM. Yeah. Well, I do have a bag of Cheetos. It's up there in that. So like I was at the convenience store picking up Mike's 3 different flavors of Slurpees because I just didn't know which one. Oh no, there's not these ones. But and I've never seen these before. This was something fun. It's Mexican street corn Cheetos. I've never seen them, and I looked at those and I said, "Hey, that doesn't have any gluten in it." So I think this might be devoured on the way on the drive home, but I'm really hoping they do taste like Mexican street corn Cheetos.
I believe those are very well deserved.
Mike's definitely more strict. I I was first all the way to the AZT, and I'm looking to going back to just a cheat meal a week.
Just one a week, did you say?
Yeah, cheat meal a week. Like crumble cookie or.
That sounds fair. Here we go. We have. Oh, they're still coming in. Couple questions about your shin and ankle, Mike. How are they doing?
Yeah, they're a lot better. I think that was from me spraining my ankle a few weeks before starting this. Just between taping it to prevent another roll, and then I'm sure I was doing some compensating. I did notice like a few days into this, I was really tense when I was running. And like once I finally started to like relax my body, like I noticed my running form kind of went back to what it was before I sprained my ankle. So I think I've just been really tense and trying to protect my ankle, which led to compensating and everything. But yeah, it's a lot better now. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to be very eloquent in how I talk, but I'm still out of it. So I apologize if I don't make a lot of sense.
Gotcha. No, I think you've been doing great.
Okay.
Is there one thing, this question is for both of you, that you would change on your next attempt?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me, anybody that knows me knows that I've always talked about how I'm not good at sleeping. When I did the Colorado Trail, I ended up sleeping maybe like 45 minutes to an hour a night, and that was for 7 days. And that was really, really pushing the boundary of what's possible for sleep deprivation and performance. And I knew coming into this that I'd have to try to sleep more if I wanted a shot at it. And so I did. Long story short, the biggest thing I'm going to change, I feel like things really started to fall apart for me when I tried pushing through that third or fourth night without sleep. In my head, I was like, I can do it at a 200-mile race. I should be able to do it once or twice in an effort like this. And I no longer believe that that's the case unless you save that for like the very end when you're trying to do a final push to finish, relying on like your adrenaline, like with the light at the end of the tunnel kind of scenario. So yeah, the biggest thing that I would personally change is focus on getting 5 hours every day, and not trying to push through any of the nights unless I have to at the very end.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That was, a massive push. Where did that push begin when you started? Was that going down the Mogollon Rim, like the Highline Trail?
Yeah, yes. So the day before the Mogollon Rim is when I did my first push, because I remember I came into Pine just before the sun came down. And so the way that next section worked, my biggest weakness is I'm not good at logistics. I just kind of show up and wing it, which obviously is what really created some issues with this for me. So I didn't realize that the section after Pine that my crew was going to have to hike in, it was like 3 miles to meet me with resupplies. And so that meant I wasn't going to have my vehicle to sleep in that night. And so because I pushed the night before, that meant I had to go 2 nights with basically no sleep. And that's what really messed me up. So yeah, the first night I pushed through was the night before Pine. And then the second night I was kind of forced to push through, which was just after Pine, going into, how do you say that mountain range? Mazel Tov.
I think I say it wrong every time. It's either Mazatol or Matazal, one of those two.
Yeah. So the push was just that night, and then the night before that is where I really messed up my sleep.
Ben, same question for you. If you can do anything differently, what would you do?
Definitely along the same lines as what Mike's saying with the sleep. We set up, obviously we went into the approach of thinking 100K a day kind of a thing, 100K every 24 hours. And you look at my Strava, the first 2 days, I was able to maintain that in through those difficult sections, but because I was fresh, I was able to, maintain that, but I was actually pushing the effort. Like in order to get that in, I was in full 200 race mode, and the extra time it took me through all that vert and rough terrain was reduced my sleep window. And by the end of after the second day into the third day with a smaller sleep window, it started to play a toll. And so looking forward, me and Mike have been kind of strategizing and talking about the future. And one of the things we would want to do is shift from mileage to just a time frame. Like, we want to be out the door at whether it's 5 or 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. And then we have a hard cutoff at night. And if you're really close to the cutoff and you're a little early to your crew, you just call it and then just shift the start time to reflect the lot, the cutting it short a little bit. But if you're like in the middle of an effort, one of the things that I want to do is set up a fast pack scenario with bivy, really light quilt, pad, and throw in a little bit bigger leader pack, and in a lightweight scenario, and go into that section knowing that when I hit X time, it's find a place to crash, sleep, get back up and continue the effort, get back to the crew and switch back to a lighter pack. So I really think that would be an optimal strategy for certain sections, especially some of those center sections coming out of the superstitions are like back to back 30-mile sections. And so when you start looking at them, it starts messing up your sleep schedule a little bit, because you got a 30 and then a 30. And if it's over rough terrain, you're 100K almost into a shorter run window because of the train slowing you down. So the nice thing about having both of us pretty much do the whole trail in combination, with me doing the southern section, him doing the northern section, and me crewing the upper 2/3, is that we know where crews can get to. We know what the roads situation looks like. We know even additional road crossings that we probably could have interjected another crew support area. So, lessons learned, like the experience gained, we can come back with a more bulletproof strategy or more options, and make a even more educated attempt.
Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, in between the both of you, I mean, you guys have covered like probably the trail and then 50% of it again. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What were your overall impressions of the trail? Was the direction that you went with something that you think you would do again? Did you like your preferred direction? But yeah, what did you think of the trail kind of overall?
So I am very blessed with where I live. But being out here made me realize that I have some weaknesses because of where I live. The trail access and the mountain access that I have is incredible. Like, trailhead is right out my front door, which leads to hundreds of miles of trail. So from that sense, it's great. But the trails where I live are like very buttery smooth, not overgrown, not a lot of rocks. So you can just run. And there's a lot of this trail was not that. And so And this is where the brain fog comes in. I forgot what the question
was. How did you like the overall trail?
Oh, okay. So it's very different than what I'm used to, and it obviously caused some frustrations because I'm not used to it. If you're not used to this, it's very, very mentally taxing to have to go through it, because, I'd be on a grade where I'm just like, I should be able to fly, and like physically I feel good, but I can't fly because it's so rocky, it's so overgrown. Like I'm basically hiking down it. So to be honest, like the trail was not my favorite. But that's okay. Like, yeah, that's okay. So the trail wasn't my favorite, but the views were great. Like the Grand Canyon was amazing, obviously. As hard as the superstitions were, like it provided some amazing views. Picket Post was absolutely incredible. There was some sweet terrain and sweet views through that section. So I'd say the views were incredible, but for me, like the trail just was not my favorite, just because of how hard it was and how technical it was. I'm not used to.
Yeah, those three wilderness areas right dead center of the trail are just absolutely brutal. I got lost in the Mazatals twice, ended up like basically going all the way down the mountain on the wrong trail before I figured it out. And
it's overgrown, it's difficult. And like when you're in a mentally, like when you're sleep deprived, there is a lot of the trail that makes the sleep deprivation harder. And what I mean by that is like it's very repetitive in a lot of areas, and the repetition of seeing the same thing over and over again like kind of plays into just your mind shutting down. It helps it shut down a little bit more, makes it easy to fall asleep so yeah, it's just very, very repetitive in a lot of areas too. But yeah, it's a cool, the concept is amazing, being able to cover the whole state of Arizona on trail, from top of the state to the bottom of the state. That's really remarkable. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's how I feel about the trail.
It definitely does.
Okay.
The views are just amazing. I mean, it's different. We're coming from Utah. We run up in Colorado. We run down in southern Utah. And even southern Utah being kind of a desert area, it's different than Arizona. So it's just a whole different landscape. Now, you put us in the middle of running, and we're sleep deprived, and we're frustrated because we want to run, and you got rocks, and you kind of start swearing at the trail and cursing the trail, and you don't have the highest opinion of the trail. But hindsight, looking back at it, it definitely has its appeal to where, yes, I want to come back and experience more of it. It's kind of, there's something beautiful about a brutal terrain and beautiful views. And I think as more awareness comes towards the AZT through efforts like this and other people's projects and efforts and everything, the more use that the trail is going to get, and the better it's going to, it takes time, and hasn't been a trail for very long. It's a new established national trail, relatively new compared to like the AT and the PCT. And so Arizona is actually doing a really great job in creating and investing time and resources into the trail. And we can actually see that. And from even when Joe did it to when we did it to even when Michael Versteeg did it, there's newer passages, new sections, which I got to experience no trail at all on a new passage. That was pretty interesting at night. I don't recommend that. But as time goes on and more people come in, more awareness, I mean, it's a fantastic trail. I would definitely put it on the list. As of right now, I definitely put it on your spring to-do list and not so much your fall to-do list. And then just kind of watch the snowfall. So it's great. And I move really well over rough terrain. Actually, that's one of my skill sets, is up vertical and descent and moving over rough terrain. Where I live, there's just rough, rocky trail everywhere, and so it's just what I'm used to. And the overgrowth, it prevented any type of skill set when you're stepping down on grass and you got a few boulders underneath, or you decide to kick through the grass to break trail and you kick a nice rock and feel like you broke your index toe, or whatever the long toe is called. But you know, it's a great trail.
Yeah, when you're trying to move fast over that overgrowth, you don't have the luxury of picking your steps. You kind of just have to trust a little bit. So yeah,
Going on
that being an issue. Cool. Any closing thoughts? You guys are obviously doing a bunch of awareness for the Arizona Trail just through this. I think we're getting a lot more eyes on it, a lot more exposure, people who wouldn't be aware of it otherwise. I'll also give you the floor to shout out some of your sponsors and your donation partners as well.
Yeah, I'm really appreciative of all the involvement at Aravaipa, and the people who have watched the live stream, the people who have commented on posts. There were a lot of moments out on the trail where I just sat down on a rock, very frustrated, wanting to call it, and I had service. I'd like turn it on a lot of times to see either where Ben was or to see how close I was to my crew according to the map. And through that, I'd get all the notifications of the comments that people were leaving on my posts and messaging, and like those comments like helped me, find a little bit more drive to keep going. So I'm very appreciative of all the help of people who I have met, people who I haven't met. The donations, I'm very grateful for that. This Rod's Heroes has a pretty big place in my heart. I can't remember if I've talked about this or not, but my sister adopted a little girl with Down syndrome from Colombia about 5 years ago. And I know it was very financially hard for her and her husband. And Rod's Heroes stepped in and gave her the final check that she needed to be able to make that adoption happen. And so my family's been personally blessed because of Rod's Heroes work. And so I know this little girl, Marianne, that I've been, I have a picture of her and I've carried her with me the entire way in this vet. I plan on doing the same thing next spring when I come back. But just thinking about Maggie, the girl that my sister adopted, thinking about how amazing she is and how much light she's brought to our family. Like, I can only imagine Marianne, the girl who I carried with me in my pack, she's got that opportunity to bless another family's life. And so the donations are going to help her adoption. I firmly believe that some families are going to find her. So thank you for your donations. And I'll let Ben do a shout out to the sponsors.
Yeah, well, and bigger than the trail. I've actually, since I've been out here, and it's been nice to be able to, when I was running, I really just didn't even open my phone because it was just too much for me to process running. And then I would get messages after I started to come and crew Mike. I started to be able to go in and dive into some of my messages, and there's actually people, reaching out to me and thanking me for helping Bigger Than the Trail, that they utilized Bigger Than the Trail in times of need. And then others that have just had the utilized counseling services to get them through challenges. And how thankful, thanking us for helping with donations that will actually assist other people that are in need. And you see what's going on in the world is in a, it's just a difficult time in the world. And I think every time frame has its struggles, but there's people out there that need just that extra assistance and support. And it's wonderful that there are services out there, and if they don't have whether insurance or financial means to get the right help they need, that there's these organizations out there trying to help those in need. And so again, we have the donation link. We're going to leave it live for another week at least. We're going to share more this next week for donations. Another third of the donations goes to the Arizona Trail Association to help better the trails, and to increase the awareness and everything. So 3 amazing organizations that serve the community. And then everybody that has donated, thank you. And every dollar that has been donated is going to enter that donor into, a raffle giveaway by our brand partners. They've donated, each brand partner has donated 5 different prizes to be raffled off. And we have over $7,500 worth of gear and gift cards and product that we're going to raffle off at the end of the donation and send out to each individual. And then I just, I want to thank everybody. I hope on a personal level that this inspires people. Inspires people that have really grand ideas. We didn't know how this was going to turn out. It was an idea that me and Mike kind of like spoke about on a trail, and then we kind of went on a trail run, and it's amazing what it's evolved into. And so I want to encourage people that if you have a desire to do something, whether it's in running, whether it's in what other passions you have, don't fear the potential of failure to, paralyze you from moving forward with those ideas. Because regardless of how this turned out, it's been a huge success for not only the organizations that we raised money for, but for ourselves, for the lessons that we learned, the experience that we gained, for the brand partners and their awareness, for Aravaipa. And then for all the individuals watching and being inspired and wondering, can I do that? There was a time that I had never ran more than 6 miles, and I read the book from Dean Karnaz's Run, and in the book he just sat there and shared, you can do this. Basically, it's all geared around, it's up to you. The potential is yours. You're the creator of your own destiny in a way, and you start today and go one day at a time and moving forward with goals and opportunity, and the sky's the limit. And this is not the grand all project. We have great ideas, and whether they materialize, we can see. But I just think that people going after their passions and their dreams has the opportunity to inspire other people to go after their passions and dreams, and it's infectious, and it cultivates the community and the world becomes a better place for everyone. So I just encourage people to go after their dreams, to go after what they want to put their minds to it. And failure is just a process to success. It's just a step in the process to success, however you want to see it. And you don't fail unless you stay down. So you get back up, you apply resilience, and you keep moving forward.
I could not have said it any better myself, Ben. What you two did is really cool. Like I said, really putting yourselves out there, special, raising awareness for some great charity partners. I wasn't aware of the Bigger Than the Trail and Rod's Heroes before this, so thank you all for bringing the awareness to it. And I mean, this is just like, it's hard to put into words how cool this is for me. I personally feel very inspired by just seeing you two push the limits so much, and I know even just from the messages in the chat and what I've been seeing online, you guys definitely inspired a lot of people. So thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of this. It was really fun for us too.
Appreciate it. Just again, thank you. And if anyone wants to reach out, personally, we're one thing about us, me and Mike, is we're very open to the community to reach out and to share what we know and to offer assistance wherever we can, whether it's in coaching, whether it's in just preparing for your next adventure or your next race, crewing. I mean, we definitely, in the combination, two of us have a lot to offer the community, and we're willing to, because that's how we gained our knowledge, is by asking and other people sharing with us. And so paying it forward is definitely big in our eyes.
Yep. So with that, I'm gonna check in with the other two FKT attempts, and then the unsupported ones that are still going, see if they're still on the trail, and then we'll be signing off for now.
Yeah, share the love with those other guys. What I love staying on the live and listening to what's going on with those other individuals, because what they're doing is just absolutely incredible, and it's inspiring. And I hope that those people that send us love can redirect their focus and send the support and encouragement to those others that are still out on trail, pushing their own limits, and enduring the terrain and everything. It's amazing.
Couldn't agree more. So I guess we'll see you guys around. Good luck.
Awesome.
Good safe travels getting back, and have a happy Halloween.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. See you guys.
See ya.
All right. So with that, let's head over to the tracker for Eric Halston and Krista and see if we can get an update. So last we saw, I believe Eric was about 100 miles behind Mike, also going southbound. So this was posted one day ago, out of the superstitions onto much easier terrain. I think Michael would agree with that statement. Let's check his tracker here. Oh yeah, so Eric has made it almost, it looks like he is right now on his way to American Flag Trailhead. He just passed the 77 that goes into Oracle, and it looks like he's gonna be making his way up Mount Lemmon. Still moving strong. You can tell, one thing I look for is how condensed these waypoints are, and you can see it's pretty consistent, meaning his mileage is not fluctuating very much. So it's awesome to see that Eric is still on the move. Let's see if we got anything from Krista. So nothing from Krista yet. Last we saw, I want to say it was an update at mile 420, which is around Sunflower. So Krista Foss on Instagram, and then Halston Eric, if you want to follow along with their two adventures. They both seem to be moving strong still, which is awesome. Last thing I wanted to check in on here is the Arizona Trail mountain bike race. So I'm going to do a refresh on here, and we're just going to see where our race leaders are. So it looks like Jeff has made his way into Flagstaff now. It looks like the route that they're going to be taking is the non-urban route, which is the same as the FKT, I believe, which does not take you directly through the town, but kind of on the outskirts to the east. So Jeff is actually, is this, oh almost on the Cocodona course. Coming up here, I think the Walnut Canyon aid station is actually around there. So, and then next, second place currently is Andy Wenzel, who I believe is from Phoenix, and he is moving along well. They're both well over 500 miles, so that's cool to see that they're still moving. Thank you all for tuning in for this Arizona Trail Showdown. This is day 12. They are both out of the actual competition, but I think they pushed really hard. It was really fun for Jamil and I to both be involved in this and to see all the drama play out in real time. So thank you all for following along. Hopefully we'll be able to do something like this soon in the future. Until next time, we'll see ya.